Welcome to the Rusted Garden Homestead. Today I'm planting up my sunken container garden. There are 13 pots here. They measure about 14 inches across, and I just measured the length is 18 feet. So let's call this 18 feet, and we'll say 2 feet across. 2 pepper plants per pot, that's 26 pepper plants in this small footprint, 2 feet wide, 18 feet long. I like using sunken containers. I can put all the good resources right into the containers. I can mulch right up to the edge. It's nice and clean, and it's just a strip of land in my entire garden where I'm actually growing 26 pepper plants. You can plant peppers much more closely together, as I've been talking about, so I put 2 into each pot. Container goes in halfway into the ground. The bottom, you cut out half of the bottom, 2/3 of the bottom, whatever you want to do. Root systems will go into the ground. So this is just like a basic raised bed. Resources get concentrated in there. So what I'll show you today is just how I set up the soil. This was set up a little bit towards the end of the fall. I always do that. I throw in some compost or some manure. To set this up, I'm going to be putting in 1 handful of any organic granular fertilizer, some compost if you have it, or leaf grow, even well-aged manure is fine. That gets all the resources concentrated right into here, loosen it through, and then 2 pepper plants go on. I'll show you, how I do that. But again, you're going to be able to put in 26 pepper plants. The yield is double. You don't sacrifice any of the yield by putting 2 pepper plants right next to each other. They do really, really well together. I use basic tomato cages to support the growth of the plants. Peppers are fragile, so you want to support their growth so that when you're taking off the peppers, you're not breaking the plant. But this is all I really need in the way of peppers. Of course, I plant way more than I need, but I'll plant this section up probably with hot peppers. And then in the back, you can see a couple more containers. Those are sweet peppers. So this is my main area. It's not a lot of space. Anybody can do this, and you can get these pots for free if you ask your friends, or even if you go to nurseries. But whenever people bring plants, trees, shrubs to their house, ask for the pots, and you can do something like this. All right, let me set this up, and we'll get some pepper plants in. This is a view from a little higher up, so you can get an idea of just how little the space is here where we're going to be putting all the pepper plants. I like sinking the containers in the ground because watering is less of an issue because the root systems go right into the ground. You could of course do this with containers. You're going to have the same outcome, but you're going to have to water more frequently, more often, especially when the peppers are to size and you're into the late June, July, and August heat. So you can fill these, if you're just doing this for the first time, any basic container mix, potting mix, even garden soil. Nothing fancy, nothing expensive. Just fill the pots up 2/3 of the way, and then we're going to amend the soil. I usually do this at the end in the fall, and I do it again in the spring. You can use any organic granular fertilizer. You don't need anything specialized. As you get more experience, you can worry about changing or increasing the levels of potassium and phosphorus for your peppers as they start to bloom, set fruit, reduce the nitrogen and all that. But you don't need to be perfect with the fertilizing. I'm going to just show you how to set it up. So this is just a basic organic granular fertilizer. This is going to be a slow release fertilizer, and any one that you find on sale is perfectly fine as long as the N, P, and K are represented. So you'll see a number like 543, 624, something like that. So in each pot, that's 1 handful, 2 handfuls of the organic granular fertilizer, and then several handfuls of decent compost, fully aged manure, leaf grow. That's about 5 in there, and that's just gonna be how I amend all the pots up, and then I just mix it through. Getting down good 6-8 inches, really loosening up the soil, and that's it. Everything will be set up. That's all you really need to do. You could do more, but this is all you need to do to get a great harvest. After the peppers are in, I'm going to hit them with a water-soluble fertilizer, fish emulsion, give them some nitrogen. My peppers were all grown indoors. They all got transitioned out here. They got a little beat up with the cold weather, so they're not the nicest looking peppers, but they're going to be perfectly fine. But I want to hit them with nitrogen because they're small, want to get them growing, and then I'm going to back off on that and just kind of let the peppers go. Subscribe, I'll show you how I take care of these over the season. All right, let me set up the soil. We'll get to the pepper plants. And as I mentioned, I've been growing 2 peppers closely together for almost 10 years, and you really do double your production. So a couple of ways that I do this: single plants, jalapeno, and you can space them out in here if you want. I just plant to just a little bit above the soil line right here, maybe up to here or something like that, and then you just press them in. We're going to water it in with water soluble fertilizer. That will give nitrogen to the plants right away. Phosphorus, potassium, they'll be able to use it to get growing and get established. The organic granular that we put in will start breaking down over the next 2 to 4 months and give back to the plant. I also just start 2 pepper plants in one container and plant them that closely together. These are Greek Goldens. Don't forget to label your plants. And that's all you really need to do. And even though my plants are a little bit beat up, you can see all the side shoots coming back. Peppers are going to take off now that it's warming up here in Maryland Zone 7. So let me plant up the rest. I'll show you that. We'll water them in. And this is all I really do to get a wonderful pepper production, you know, over the season. And again, these are going to be my hot peppers. Once you have the containers set up, it only took me about an hour to including mulching to get the pepper plants in, get everything set up. So once this is set, it's pretty low maintenance and really easy to plant. So I have 2 pepper plants in each of the containers, duplicating some peppers, the ones that I like more. And even though like in here I'll have 2 Greek Goldens, 2 jalapeno M's, you can put in different plants. You can just put, you know, one variety of some hot pepper and another variety. You don't have to put the same pepper in each container. This is going to be a really nice hedge of peppers. Supports are in that will really help manage them because there's a lot of plants growing in here. You can prune if you need to, but the production will be wonderful. You're not sacrificing anything. In fact, you're saving a lot of space, and by putting 2 plants in where we would normally put 1 plant, you really are doubling your production. So the last thing that I would do is I use fish emulsion. I would just water the plants in right now and just soak the whole area. I don't really do a lot after this for my pepper plants. You can if you want to. Somewhere around, I don't know, when the plants are like maybe 2 feet tall, they're starting to flower, they're starting to produce, I might do a top dressing of some compost. I am experimenting with a water soluble called Bloom. It's a 0-10-10. So it has more phosphorus, potassium, no nitrogen, because you don't want to overdo the nitrogen with your pepper plants. You don't want tons of leaves. You want peppers to grow. But using that 0-10-10, that's more of an experiment right now. You can just do exactly what I showed you today, and you will have a nice row of pepper plants that will produce, and I think you'd be really happy. Thanks so much for watching. Please check out my seed shop at therustedgarden.com. And don't be afraid to plant peppers in sunken containers more closely together. You're not going to sacrifice anything, and you're going to save a lot of space. Thanks for watching.